First contact. The twin moons of Zephyria cast an ethereal glow over the alien landscape, bathing the crystalline forests in soft purple light. Captain Aria Chen of the Earth exploration vessel Curiosity checked her suit's oxygen levels one last time before stepping out onto the planet's surface. The air shimmered with an otherworldly quality, filled with floating bioluminescent particles that danced in the gentle breeze. Command, this is Chen. I've made landfall on Zephyria. The atmosphere is breathable, but I'm keeping my suit sealed for now. It's beautiful here, Aria reported, her voice filled with awe as she took in the sight before her. Copy that, Chen. Proceed with caution and remember, first contact protocol is in effect. We don't know if this world is inhabited, came the response from her earpiece. Aria nodded to herself, double-checking that her translator module was active. It was standard equipment on all exploration missions, capable of deciphering unknown languages through advanced AI algorithms. She hoped she wouldn't need it, but in her line of work, one could never be too prepared. As she made her way through the forest, Aria couldn't help but marvel at the alien flora surrounding her. The trees, if you could call them that, were more like giant, transparent crystals that pulsed with inner light. Delicate tendrils of energy seemed to connect them, forming a vast, living network that spanned as far as the eye could see. Suddenly, a sound caught her attention, a melodic humming that seemed to resonate with the very air around her. Aria froze, her hand instinctively moving to the non-lethal stun weapon at her hip. The humming grew louder, and then, from behind a cluster of crystal trees, a figure emerged. Aria's breath caught in her throat. Before her stood a being of such ethereal beauty that for a moment she thought she must be hallucinating. The alien was humanoid in shape, but that's where the similarities ended. Its skin shimmered with a pearlescent quality, shifting colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Long, flowing hair that looked like spun starlight framed a face with large, almond-shaped eyes that glowed with an inner light. The alien, clearly female in appearance, wore a gown that seemed to be made of living energy, flowing and shifting with her every movement. A delicate circlet adorned her head, marking her as someone of importance. For a long moment, human and alien stared at each other, both seemingly frozen in place by the unexpected encounter. Aria's mind raced. This was it, first contact with an alien species. Years of training kicked in, and she slowly raised her hands, palms outward, in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," Aria said softly, her translator module humming to life. "I come in peace." The alien tilted her head, curiosity evident in her luminous eyes. Then, to Aria's amazement, she spoke, and the translator rendered her words in perfect English. "Welcome, traveler from the stars. I am Princess Lyra of the Zephyrian people. Your arrival has been foretold in our ancient prophecies." Aria blinked, taken aback. Prophecies? Foretold arrival? This was not how she had imagined first contact would go. I'm Captain Aria Chen of Earth. I'm an explorer here to learn about your world. Princess Lyra's eyes seemed to sparkle with increased intensity. Earth, the legendary blue world. Oh, how fascinating. She took a step closer, and Aria felt a strange tingling sensation run through her body. "Please, you must tell me everything about your people, your world." The enthusiasm in the alien princess's voice was infectious, and Aria found herself smiling despite her lingering caution. "I'd be happy to, Your Highness. But perhaps we should start with the basics. How is it that you can understand me?" Lyra gestured to the forest around them. The crystal network connects all life on Zephyria. It allows us to perceive thoughts and intentions, to understand languages we've never heard. Your arrival sent ripples through the network. That's how I knew to find you here. As if in response to her words, the crystal trees pulsed with increased luminosity. Aria's scientific mind was buzzing with questions, but she forced herself to focus on the diplomatic aspects of the encounter first. "Princess Lyra, I represent a peaceful expedition from Earth. We're here to explore and learn, not to conquer or colonize. I hope we can establish friendly relations between our peoples." Lyra's expression softened, and she reached out, her fingertips almost brushing Aria's suit. "Oh, I can sense the truth in your words, Aria of Earth. Your heart is pure, your intentions noble. Come, you must meet my father, the king. He will be overjoyed to welcome you to our world." As Lyra turned to lead the way, Aria quickly activated her comm link. "Command, this is Chen. You're not going to believe this, but I've made first contact. I'm being escorted to meet their leader. Stand by for updates." She heard excited chatter erupt from the other end of the line, but tuned it out as she followed Princess Lyra deeper into the crystal forest. With each step, the alien world seemed to come alive around them. Bioluminescent creatures flitted through the air, and the ground beneath their feet emitted a soft glow in response to their presence. Lyra glanced back at Aria, her eyes filled with an emotion the human couldn't quite decipher. "Tell me, Aria of Earth, what drives your people to explore the stars? What makes you venture so far from your home?" The question caught Aria off guard, but she found herself answering honestly. Curiosity, mostly. A desire to understand the universe and our place in it. To learn, to grow, to challenge ourselves. Lyra's lips curved into a smile that seemed to light up the entire forest. "Ah, such noble pursuits. We Zephyrians value knowledge and understanding above all else. Perhaps our peoples are not so different after all." As they walked, Aria couldn't help but notice the way Lyra moved, with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. Every gesture, every step was like a dance, in perfect harmony with the pulsing energy of the crystal forest. And yet, there was something else there too, a tension, an intensity in the way the princess kept glancing back at her. "Your world is incredible," Aria said, hoping to keep the conversation going. "I've never seen anything like these crystal trees. Are they alive?" Lyra nodded enthusiastically. "Very much so. The crystal network is the lifeblood of our world. It connects all Zephyrians, allows us to share thoughts, emotions, even memories. It's through the network that we first sensed your approach." Aria's scientific curiosity was piqued. Fascinating. "So it's a form of collective consciousness. Does it extend beyond your planet?" "In a way," Lyra replied, her voice taking on a wistful tone. "We can sense disturbances in the cosmic energy fields, echoes of distant worlds and civilizations. But you are the first to actually reach us." There was something in the princess's voice, a longing that Aria couldn't quite place. Before she could ponder it further, the crystal forest opened up into a vast clearing. Aria gasped at the sight before her. A city of impossible beauty sprawled out beneath them, its spires and domes seeming to grow organically from the crystalline landscape. At its center stood a palace that defied description, a structure of living light and energy that pulsed in time with the forest around it. "Welcome," Lyra said, her voice filled with pride, "to the heart of Zephyria." As they approached the city, Aria noticed more Zephyrians emerging from crystal structures, their curious gazes fixed on her. Like Lyra, they were beings of otherworldly beauty, each unique in their coloration and the patterns of light that danced across their skin. "They're all so different," Aria marveled. "On Earth, members of the same species tend to look quite similar." Lyra nodded, a hint of sadness in her voice. "We Zephyrians reflect the cosmic energies that flowed through the crystal network at the moment of our birth. No two are alike. It is both our greatest strength and our greatest sorrow." "Sorrow?" Aria asked, puzzled. Why would such beauty be a source of sadness? The princess's gaze met Aria's, and for a moment, the human felt as if she could see into the very depths of Lyra's soul. "Because we are bound by our nature, Aria of Earth. Our fates are written in the stars, our paths predetermined by the cosmic forces that shape us. We have never known the freedom that you humans possess, the ability to choose your own destiny." Aria felt a sudden wave of empathy for the alien princess. Despite all the wonders of her world, Lyra longed for something that humans took for granted, free will. Before she could respond, they arrived at the palace entrance. Two guards, their bodies rippling with patterns of golden light, bowed deeply to Lyra. "Your Highness," one of them said, their voice like chimes in the wind, "the king awaits you and the star traveler in the grand chamber." Lyra nodded regally, then turned to Arya with a smile that seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken words. "Are you ready, Arya of Earth, to meet my father and change the course of both our worlds forever?" Arya took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. This was it, the moment that would go down in history, the first official meeting between humanity and an alien civilization. "I'm ready," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. As they entered the palace, Arya couldn't shake the feeling that she was on the precipice of something monumental. The way Lyra looked at her, the prophecy she had mentioned, the longing in her voice when she spoke of human freedom, it all pointed to a future far more complex and intertwined than a simple exchange of scientific knowledge. Little did Arya know that her arrival on Zephyria would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge the very foundations of both their civilizations and forge a bond between human and alien that would reshape the galaxy itself. As the doors to the grand chamber swung open, Arya Chen, representative of humanity, stepped forward into a new era of interstellar relations. With Princess Lyra of Zephyria by her side, her alien eyes filled with an emotion that transcended the barriers between their species. Hope, cosmic destiny unraveled. The grand chamber of the Zephyrian palace was a marvel of alien architecture, its walls shimmering with living light that pulsed in harmony with the collective emotions of those present. Captain Arya Chen felt a strange tingling sensation as she stepped inside, as if the very air was alive with an electric charge. At the center of the chamber stood King Zorax, a being of such luminous majesty that Arya had to squint to look at him directly. His form seemed to shift and flow, like a living constellation given humanoid shape. "Welcome, Earthling," King Zorax's voice resonated through the chamber, each word carrying the weight of cosmic significance. "Your arrival heralds the dawn of a new galactic age." Arya bowed respectfully, her mind racing to process the grandeur of the moment. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I come in peace, seeking to forge bonds of friendship between our worlds." As she straightened, Arya caught sight of Princess Lyra standing beside her father. The alien princess's gaze was fixed on Arya with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. There was something in those luminous eyes that spoke of longing, of a desire that transcended the boundaries of their species. King Zorax's voice pulled Arya's attention back to the matter at hand. "Captain Chen, your presence here is no mere coincidence. The quantum strings of fate have been vibrating with anticipation of this moment for eons." Arya blinked, taken aback. "I'm not sure I understand, Your Majesty. Are you saying our meeting was predestined?" The king's form shimmered with what might have been amusement. "In a manner of speaking, yes. But destiny, Captain, is not a fixed point. It is a tapestry of infinite possibilities, and you humans possess a unique ability to weave your own threads into its fabric." Princess Lyra stepped forward, her voice filled with barely contained excitement. "Father, may I show Captain Chen the cosmic nexus? I believe it will help her understand." King Zorax nodded, his starry form rippling with approval. "A wise suggestion, my daughter. Captain Chen, if you would follow us." As they moved deeper into the palace, Arya's comm unit crackled to life. "Chen, this is command. Status update." Arya quickly responded, her voice hushed. "Still with the alien leaders. They're about to show me something called the cosmic nexus. We'll report back soon." The trio entered a circular chamber dominated by a swirling vortex of energy that seemed to bend the very fabric of reality around it. Motes of light danced within its depths, each one pulsing with potential. "Behold the cosmic nexus," King Zorax intoned. "A window into the quantum realm where all possibilities coexist." Arya stared in awe, her scientific mind struggling to comprehend what she was seeing. "It's incredible. But what does it mean?" Princess Lyra stepped closer, her hand hovering near Aria's arm, as if she longed to touch, but dared not. It shows us the threads of destiny, the paths our choices create. But for us Zephyrians, those paths have always been limited, constrained by the cosmic energies that shape us. The princess's voice took on a note of yearning. Until now, your arrival, Area of Earth, has introduced a new variable into the equation of our existence. Human unpredictability, your capacity for free will, it's changing the very nature of our reality. As if in response to Lyra's words, the cosmic nexus pulsed with increased intensity. Aria gasped as she saw images flashing within its depths, glimpses of possible futures, of Earth and Zephyria intertwined in ways she could barely comprehend. King Zorax's voice resonated with gravitas. Captain Chen, your people stand at a crossroads. The choices you make in the coming days will ripple across the cosmos, shaping the destiny of countless worlds. Aria felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. But I'm just an explorer. How can I possibly be expected to make decisions of such magnitude? Lyra's hand finally made contact with Aria's arm, and a jolt of energy passed between them. The princess's eyes blazed with an inner fire as she spoke. Because, Aria of Earth, you possess something we Zephyrians have long forgotten, the power to defy fate itself. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the palace. King Zorax's form flickered with concern. The quantum barriers are destabilizing. Something is forcing its way into our reality. The cosmic nexus began to writhe and twist, its smooth surface fracturing like broken glass. Through the cracks, Aria caught glimpses of something terrible. Vast fleets of biomechanical ships, worlds consumed by living darkness, civilizations falling before an unstoppable tide. The Void Collective, Lyra whispered, her voice filled with horror. An entity from beyond the quantum veil, drawn by the disturbance your arrival has caused in the cosmic tapestry. Aria's mind reeled as she processed the implications. Her presence on Zephyria hadn't just changed the destiny of two worlds, it had attracted the attention of an interdimensional threat that could spell doom for the entire galaxy. As the alarms continued to blare, Aria made a decision that would alter the course of history. She turned to King Zorax and Princess Lyra, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. Tell me everything you know about this Void Collective. If my being here has put your world in danger, then I'll do whatever it takes to help defend it. Lyra's eyes shimmered with a mixture of admiration and something deeper, more primal. You would stand with us against a threat you barely understand. Truly, the legends of human courage were not exaggerated. King Zorax's form pulsed with approval. Then let it be so. From this moment forward, the fates of Earth and Zephyria are inexorably linked. Together, we shall face the coming storm and forge a new destiny for both our peoples. As Aria nodded her agreement, she couldn't help but notice the way Lyra looked at her, with a hunger that went beyond mere curiosity or admiration. There was desire there, a longing that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of reality around them. Little did Aria know that this unexpected attraction between human and alien would prove to be the key to unlocking powers beyond imagination. Powers that might just be the galaxy's only hope against the encroaching darkness of the Void Collective. With the fate of two worlds resting on her shoulders and an alien princess gazing at her with undisguised longing, Captain Aria Chen prepared to take her first steps into a larger universe, one where the boundaries between science and magic, destiny and free will, would be tested to their very limits. The stage was set for an epic tale of interstellar romance, cosmic horror, and the indomitable spirit of humanity in the face of overwhelming odds. As the cosmic nexus continued to fracture, revealing glimpses of the trials to come, one thing became clear: the universe would never be the same again. Quantum entanglement of hearts and worlds. The Zephyrian war room hummed with nervous energy as Captain Aria Chen stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, her mind racing to process the information before her. Beside her, Princess Lyra's form shimmered with barely contained anxiety, her ethereal beauty a stark contrast to the grim situation they faced. The Void Collective's incursion points are expanding exponentially, Arya said, her voice steady despite the weight of cosmic dread settling in her stomach. We're looking at a full-scale interdimensional invasion within 72 Earth hours. King Zorax's starry form pulsed with concern. Our quantum shielding can only hold for so long. We need a solution, and quickly. Arya's fingers danced across the holographic controls, bringing up schematics of Earth's most advanced technology. If we could combine Earth's dark matter propulsion systems with Zephyrian crystal tech, we might be able to create a weapon capable of sealing the quantum rifts. Lyra's eyes widened, a spark of hope igniting within their luminous depths. Yes, the crystal network could amplify the dark matter's reality-warping properties. But she hesitated, her gaze locking with Arya's. Such a merger would require a level of synchronicity our species have never attempted before. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension, the attraction that had been simmering since their first meeting now threatening to boil over. Arya felt a flush creep up her neck, acutely aware of how close the alien princess stood. Whatever it takes, Arya said, her voice husky with emotion she couldn't quite name. Earth and Zephyria's survival depends on our ability to work together. King Zorax's form rippled with what might have been amusement. Indeed, and perhaps this crisis will forge bonds between our peoples that transcend mere alliance. Before Arya could ponder the king's words, alarms blared throughout the war room. A Zephyrian officer, his skin pulsing with patterns of urgent red light, burst in. "Your Majesty, a Void Collective scout ship has breached our outer defenses. It's on a direct course for the Crystal Core." Lyra gasped, her hand instinctively grasping Arya's arm. The human felt a jolt of energy course through her at the contact, as if their very atoms were attempting to synchronize. "The Crystal Core is the heart of our world," Lyra explained, her voice tight with fear. "If the Void Collective corrupts it, all of Zephyria will fall." Arya's military training kicked in, pushing aside the confusing emotions swirling within her. "We need to intercept that ship. Your Majesty, request permission to lead a strike team." King Zorax nodded sullenly. "Granted. Lyra, go with her. Your connection to the crystal network may be our only advantage." As they raced towards the hangar bay, Lyra pulled Arya aside, her eyes blazing with an intensity that took the human's breath away. "Arya, there's something you need to know," the princess said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The prophecy spoke not just of your arrival, but of a bond between our species. A quantum entanglement of hearts that could reshape reality itself." Arya's pulse quickened, her scientific mind grappling with the implications. "Are you saying that this attraction between us is more than just chemical?" Lyra nodded, a faint blush coloring her pearlescent skin. "It's a resonance at the subatomic level. If we fully embrace it, we might unlock powers beyond imagination." The weight of destiny pressed down on Arya's shoulders, but as she looked into Lyra's eyes, she felt a surge of determination. "Then let's give the Void Collective a taste of what happens when humanity and Zephyria truly unite." They boarded a sleek Zephyrian fighter, its crystalline structure adapting to accommodate Arya's human physiology. As they took off in pursuit of the Void Scout ship, Arya couldn't help but marvel at how natural it felt to be flying alongside the alien princess. The void of space erupted into chaos as they engaged the enemy vessel. It was a nightmarish construct of living metal and dark energy, its very presence seeming to warp the fabric of reality around it. "Conventional weapons are useless," Lyra called out, her hands dancing over the ship's controls. "We need to think beyond normal physics." In that moment, as plasma bolts and quantum torpedoes filled the space between their ships, Arya made a decision that would alter the course of the war. She reached out, entwining her fingers with Lyra's. The effect was instantaneous and overwhelming. Arya gasped as her consciousness expanded, merging with Lyra's in a tsunami of shared thoughts, emotions, and cosmic awareness. Through their bond, she could feel the pulse of the crystal network, the ebb and flow of quantum possibilities. Together, they spoke as one, their voices harmonizing in a way that sent shivers through the very foundations of reality. Their joined minds reached out, tapping into the endless potential of the cosmos. The Zephyrian fighter began to glow, transformed by their combined will into a weapon of pure possibility. The Void Scout ship never stood a chance. A beam of concentrated probability lashed out, unraveling the very quantum strings that held it together. In a flash of anti-light, the enemy vessels ceased to exist, erased not just from reality, but from all potential timelines. As Aria and Lyra's consciousness separated, they stared at each other in awe and newfound understanding. What they had just experienced went beyond mere telepathy or technological fusion. It was a glimpse of what their species could achieve together, a power that could reshape the very nature of existence. By the cosmic nexus, Lyra breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The prophecies were true. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts. Aria nodded, still reeling from the intensity of their connection. If we can replicate this on a larger scale, we might actually stand a chance against the Void Collective. As they flew back to Zephyria, victorious but acutely aware that this was only the beginning, Aria couldn't help but ponder the implications of what had just occurred. The bond between her and Lyra wasn't just a quirk of interspecies attraction. It was a fundamental force that could alter the very nature of reality. The fate of two worlds, perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested on their ability to navigate this uncharted territory of quantum-entangled hearts and minds. As they prepared to face the full might of the Void Collective, Aria realized that the greatest adventure of her life was just beginning. Little did she know that their newfound connection would soon be tested in ways neither human nor Zephyrian could have imagined, as the boundaries between love, duty, and cosmic destiny blurred into a tapestry of infinite possibility. Singularity of souls. The Zephyrian capital buzzed with frenetic energy as humans and aliens worked side by side, preparing for the inevitable onslaught of the Void Collective. Captain Aria Chen stood at the heart of it all, her mind still reeling from the cosmic connection she had shared with Princess Lyra. "The quantum harmonizer is online," a human scientist called out, his voice tinged with excitement and fear. "We're ready to begin the fusion process." Aria nodded, her gaze locked with Lyra's across the room. The air between them seemed to shimmer with unspoken potential, a force as powerful as the technology they were about to unleash. Initiating dark matter injection, Lyra announced, her hands dancing over the crystal controls. The massive chamber hummed to life, pulsing with ethereal energy that defied conventional physics. As the two technologies merged, a blinding light filled the room. Aria felt a familiar tug in her consciousness, a call that seemed to resonate with her very soul. Without hesitation, she reached out and took Lyra's hand. The world exploded into infinite possibility. Aria and Lyra's minds merged once again, but this time on a scale beyond anything they had experienced before. They were no longer just two beings sharing thoughts. They had become a nexus of cosmic awareness, a living bridge between realities. Through their joined consciousness, they could see the approaching Void Collective Armada in all its terrifying glory. But they could also see beyond it, into the quantum foam of creation itself. "We are the key," they spoke as one, their voices echoing with the power of 1,000 stars. The bridge between science and magic, between the tangible and the infinite. The assembled scientists and leaders watched in awe as Aria and Lyra began to glow, their forms blurring at the edges as if they were becoming one with the fabric of space-time itself. "By the gods," King Zorax whispered, his starry form pulsing with amazement. "The cosmic synthesis, it's actually happening." As Aria and Lyra's consciousness expanded, they became aware of a presence, vast, ancient, and filled with malevolent purpose. The Void Collective had sensed their awakening and was now focusing its full attention on Zephyria. "We must act now," the merged entity that was Aria Lyra declared. "The fate of all realities hangs in the balance." With a thought, They reached out across the cosmos, tapping into the limitless potential of the quantum realm. The dark matter crystal fusion reactor pulsed in harmony with their will, channeling energies that defied comprehension. Space itself began to warp and twist as the Void Collective's vanguard entered the Zephyrian system. But this time, they were met with a force beyond their darkest nightmares. Area Lyra raised their joined hands, and reality rippled in response. Entire fleets of void ships were erased from existence, their quantum structures unraveled and rewritten. Others found themselves trapped in recursive time loops, doomed to relive their final moments for eternity. But the Void Collective was not so easily defeated. It lashed out with weapons that violated the laws of physics, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time itself. Aria and Lyra felt the strain of maintaining their cosmic union. Sweat beaded on their brows as they fought to hold back the tide of unreality, threatening to consume everything they held dear. "We need more power," they gasped, their merged voice strained with effort. "The Crystal Network. We must tap into its full potential." King Zorax hesitated for only a moment before nodding gravely. "Do it. The survival of all depends on it." With a surge of will, Area Lyra reached out to every crystal on Zephyria, every node in the vast planetary network. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every Zephyrian felt the call, their minds joining the cosmic dance in a symphony of unified purpose. The planet itself began to glow, visible from light years away as a beacon of defiance against the encroaching void. At the heart of it all, Area and Lyra stood as the focal point of this unprecedented union of two species, their bodies mere vessels for the awesome energies flowing through them. The Void Collective reeled under the assault, its eldritch consciousness struggling to comprehend the force it now faced. For the first time in eons, it knew fear. With a final, reality-shattering burst of power, Area Lyra struck at the heart of the Void Collective. The cosmos seemed to hold its breath as the two primal forces clashed in a battle that transcended the boundaries of time and space. And then silence. The Void Collective's presence banished to a realm beyond the reach of any known reality. The tears in space-time sealed themselves, leaving behind only the fading echoes of the cosmic battle. As the energies dissipated, Area and Lyra collapsed into each other's arms, their bodies trembling from the strain of channeling such immense power. We did it," Aria gasped, her voice hoarse and her mind reeling from the lingering effects of their merger. Lyra nodded weakly, her luminous skin dimmed with exhaustion. "Yes, but at what cost?" As the dust settled and the full impact of what had transpired became clear, a new challenge emerged. The bond between Aria and Lyra, between human and Zephyrian, had fundamentally altered both species on a quantum level. They were no longer merely allies, but something new, a hybrid species born of cosmic fire and united purpose. The implications were staggering, the potential for both greatness and conflict equally vast. As news of the victory spread across the galaxy, Area and Lyra found themselves at the center of a storm of political, scientific, and philosophical debate. They had saved reality itself, but in doing so, they had changed the very nature of their peoples. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges that would test the limits of their newfound connection. But as they stood together, hands clasped and hearts beating as one, Area and Lyra knew that whatever the future held, they would face it united. For in their union, they had discovered a truth more powerful than any weapon, any technology, or any cosmic threat: the infinite potential of two hearts beating as one, transcending the boundaries of species, space, and time itself. As the first light of a new dawn broke over Zephyria, heralding an era of unprecedented cooperation and discovery, Area and Lyra shared a look that spoke volumes. Their journey was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. The cosmos watched with bated breath, wondering what marvels and challenges awaited this new hybrid species, born of human ingenuity and Zephyrian cosmic awareness, tempered in the fires of interdimensional war and bound together by a love that defied the very laws of physics. The stage was set for a new chapter in the cosmic saga, one that would reshape the very foundations of reality itself. Quantum Renaissance. The galactic year 3045 dawned on a universe transformed. In the decades following the Void Collective's defeat, the alliance between Earth and Zephyria had blossomed into a civilization unlike any the cosmos had ever seen. At its heart stood the hybrid enclave, a floating city station that served as a beacon of unity and innovation. Captain Aria Chen, now Admiral Chen of the United Terran-Zephyrian Fleet, stood at the observation deck of the enclave, her eyes scanning the bustling metropolis below. Beside her, Princess Lyra, or rather, Cosmic Overseer Lyra, watched with equal parts pride and concern. The quantum renaissance is proceeding faster than we ever imagined, Lyra mused, her iridescent skin shimmering with patterns that reflected her thoughts. But I fear we may be pushing the boundaries too far, too fast. Aria nodded, understanding her partner's concerns. The merging of human innovation and Zephyrian cosmic awareness had led to advancements that bordered on the miraculous. Quantum computers that could simulate entire universes, dark matter engines that could fold space-time like origami, and most controversially, the emergence of a new hybrid species that combined the best traits of both races. The singularity protocols are our safeguard, Aria reassured, though her voice held a hint of uncertainty. As long as we maintain balance between technological progress and ethical considerations. Her words were cut short by a blaring alarm. Holographic displays materialized around them, showing a disturbance at the edge of the solar system. By the cosmic nexus, Lyra gasped, her eyes widening. It's a timequake. The space before them seemed to fracture, reality itself splintering like broken glass. Through the cracks, they could see glimpses of other timelines, worlds where their victory against the Void Collective had never happened, realities where Earth and Zephyria had never met. This is what I feared, Lyra said, her voice tight with worry. Our quantum tinkering has destabilized the multiverse. The walls between realities are collapsing. Aria's mind raced, years of both human military training and Zephyrian cosmic insight kicking into overdrive. We need to contain it. Activate the chrono stabilizers. As alarms blared throughout the enclave, teams of human and Zephyrian scientists rushed to power up the massive devices designed to maintain the integrity of their timeline. But even as energy beams lanced out to shore up the fractured reality, Aria and Lyra knew it wouldn't be enough. There's only one way to fix this, Aria said, her eyes meeting Lyra's with grim determination. We need to go to the source. We need to enter the nexus point. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. The nexus point, the quantum singularity at the heart of the multiverse, where all timelines converged. It was theoretical, dangerous, and possibly the only hope they had of preventing total cosmic collapse. If we go in, there's no guarantee we'll come back out, Lyra warned, though her voice held no hesitation. Aria managed a small smile, reaching out to intertwine her fingers with Lyra's. Together, my love, as always. Their decision made, they raced to the quantum dive chamber, a spherical room lined with crystal matrices and dark matter injectors. As they stepped onto the central platform, their bodies began to glow with the familiar energy of their unique bond. Initiating quantum dive in 3, 2, 1, the A's voice echoed around them as reality itself seemed to blur. In a flash of impossible light, Aria and Lyra found themselves hurtling through the quantum foam of creation. Timelines whipped past them like streaks of lightning, each one a road not taken, a possibility unrealized. There, Lyra called out, pointing to a swirling vortex of pure possibility, the nexus point. As they approached the heart of all realities, they felt the pull of infinite potential. Aria gripped Lyra's hand tighter, anchoring herself to the one constant in all the chaos. Whatever happens, Aria said, her voice filled with emotion, know that loving you has been the greatest adventure of my life. Lyra's eyes shimmered with starlight as she replied, "In every timeline, in every reality, I choose you, Area Chen." With a shared breath, they plunged into the nexus point. The universe, no, the multiverse, held its breath as human and Zephyrian, now one in body and spirit, faced the raw stuff of creation itself. Within the nexus, they saw the truth of all things. The Void Collective, the Timequake, even their own meeting, all were part of a grand cosmic dance, a symphony of quantum possibilities playing out across infinite realities. Understanding dawned, not just in their minds, but in the very fabric of their beings. They were no longer just Aria and Lyra, but a living embodiment of unity, a bridge between all possible worlds. With a thought that resonated across the multiverse, they began to heal the fractured timelines. Reality knit itself back together, guided by their combined will. The timequake subsided, the walls between worlds strengthened. But as the multiverse stabilized, Aria and Lyra realized the true cost of their actions. They could never return to their original forms, to the simple life they had known. They had become something more, guardians of the quantum realm, keepers of the cosmic balance. As they emerged from the nexus point, changed but united, they found a universe transformed. The quantum renaissance had given way to a new age of cosmic harmony, with Earth and Zephyria at its center. Across the galaxies, beings of all species looked to the stars with newfound wonder and respect. For in the tale of a human captain and an alien princess, they found a truth as old as time and as vast as the cosmos itself, that love, in all its forms, was the most powerful force in any universe. And so, as Aria Lyra took their place as the guardians of reality, their story became legend. A testament to the power of unity, the strength found in differences, and the infinite possibilities that arise when two hearts dare to beat as one. The quantum saga of Aria and Lyra, once a tale of first contact and cosmic war, had become an eternal epic, a love story written in the stars, echoing across the quantum foam of existence for all time. As the new age dawned, bringing with it challenges and wonders beyond imagination, one thing remained certain: wherever the cosmic currents might lead, Aria and Lyra would face it together, their bond a beacon of hope for all realities.